And suddenly, the stopper that emits from the front of the cask shoots off the front of it and beans you in the nutsack.
Oh, oh.
Siegfried runs
And
over and puts a hand on his back.
and wine begins gushing out of this all over you, and it reeks of vinegar.
Ugh. I'm gonna.
You're incapacitated. I don't know why you think you're doing anything. Siegfried will look for it. You just focus on yourself, right?
Oh,
And
that hurts. Oh.
Zara, as you watch as the liquid is settling on the dusty floor, you notice that it begins trickling into an interesting pattern, stretching out in front of you. And the liquid, seeming to move with a mind of its own, spells out the words "last call" with an exclamation point.
You guys see this?
I see your husband never being able to have children cranked over. What is...
No, it's fine. I'll be able to help him later. You know, I'm a healer. That's why he married me. Look at the floor.
Isn't there things that can't be healed? Oh, whatever. Last call. Okay, and last call for liquor. I think we have more than enough we need right now.
But obviously that's not the point. It's threatening.
You hear the sound of Francis yowling from upstairs. Wow.
Let's go check, but, you know, I don't think it's very threatening. I think it's just kind of living the last moments before this place closed down. I'm not being ran out of this place by ghosts. Especially ghosts that are just using pub calls. Let's go check Francis, Byron. It may be rats, but if it's haunted, nothing will hurt that cute little cat.
Oh, Sam, you're right
Siegfried.
there. Can you see?
Siegfried, as you begin walking up the stairs, Samael turns around and he hushes you. He says, "Shh. Don't make a movement or a sound. There's someone upstairs. Nicholas, go check it out."
It may be Byron's father coming in after us. After all, it did look like I got dragged in.
Shh. Quiet.
I'm gonna go stealth up.
Okay.
I'll go stealth up with him.
All right. Both of you may roll stealth. I see you already rolled stealth, Byron, so I'll take that 8.
Oh, those roll again when I...
So, Nicholas, as you begin creeping up the stairwell and up onto the ground floor above, you look out and you see Francis, like pointed like an arrow at a spot behind the counter. And as you look, you see a man standing at the counter with his back to you. And he appears to be see-through. And he is picking up glasses, filthy glasses from the counter, and he's cleaning them with a piece of towel. And he's putting them back down.
I'm gonna draw my pistol, the silencer on it,
Okay.
and I'm going to slowly creep up, and I motion down for them to follow me, and I'm gonna aim it at the.
Okay. As you begin to aim your weapon, the creature turns and looks at you and puts one finger up to where its lips would be, and it goes, "Shh." And then it turns back to the glass and continues to clean it.
I'm gonna motion for everybody to come upstairs.
Siegfried
And
will follow up behind Samael.
I'm gonna put my finger to my lips and go. Can I look around and see if that's the only figure in the room?
Appears to be the only figure in the room.
Talk to him.
Siegfried will. Siegfried will walk up to the man and stand next to him, and also pick up a glass if there's any around, and find something to start cleaning with him. And so, how are you doing?
The figure turns and regards you, Siegfried, and it goes with one finger to where its lips would be. Shh. And then turns back to the glass and continues to clean it.
Well, he's not hurting anything, so why bother a ghost that's not doing anything wrong? I mean, best case scenario, one day he talks and makes us drinks.
The moment that you mention the drinks, the chair directly across from where this specter is standing starts moving on its own out several inches, and the specter gestures to the chair.
Siegfried moves over and he'll sit in the chair.
And the specter is now fading in and out of visual perception, and you watch as a glass lifts up from the counter and a bottle of wine slides across the counter close to the glass and begins lifting up. The cork pops off, shooting across the room, and it begins pouring a liquid substance into the glass, and then sets it down and slides it over to you.
I look to Byron, raise the glass, look at it, take a sip.
It is the most god-awful vinegar you've ever tasted. It puckers your mouth and makes you want to vomit immediately. Make a Constitution saving throw.
I was actually already going to do that.
Siegfried, you vomit all over the counter. The vomit hits the specter, goes through the specter, and hits Nicholas. Nicholas, you're now covered in vinegar and vomit.
Ah.
As like, I take out the cleansing stone and toss it over to Nick.
I use the cleansing stone.
The specter, without fail, immediately begins pouring you some more.
When you got your wish, poured him a drink.
I didn't really want this. I'm not a drinker. Samael, here, you try it. Maybe I'm just light.
As you're continuing to sit there, you feel a tugging sensation, Siegfried, on your back, and you can feel your traveling cloak or coat being lifted off of your body and being pulled off. And as you turn to look, you see it floating across the room, and it's hung on a coat hanger near the entrance.
Well, this, maybe if we get better wine in here, this is actually, well, sorry, the taste is awful, but if we replace that with better wine, do you know how awesome this would? As he wipes a bit of chunks off from his face that still lingers from when he vomited.
It would be kind of interesting.
The spectral image, then, you watch as it regards you, tilts its head to the side, and then begins raising straight up from the ground in front of you, up into the ceiling, and is gone with a poof. And a bit of ectoplasm begins, a stringy bit of ectoplasm streams down from a small area where it passed through the ceiling.
You know, I'm really freaked out right now, but I'm also really excited. And Siegfried just, his eyes are wide, and just there's a mix of excitement and bewilderment as he just looks at everyone. It's like, this is totally awesome.
No kidding. So he just poured a glass for me out of nothing.
No. There's wine over there, and he floated it over here with his almighty ghostly powers and poured me a drink. Like, can you imagine if that was good wine and we had patrons coming in? And ghosts don't need pay.
I know. Well, did he say anything to you?
No, that's the best part. No conversation. He just
He just what?
rode off and hung it by the door.
Samael, could you garner anything from the thing?
I've just been sitting over patiently waiting for one of you to tell me to hit it. It's unnatural, but I agree with Siegfried on this. If it wanted to hurt us, it would have. Clearly, something about Siegfried. Siegfried, do you still have that deed on you?
I I believe maybe I do. Either I do or we have it in the party loot together, actually.
Well, I believe you were holding it when you came in, didn't?
You're holding you had the key, and I believe it's in your inventory, the tube with the deed in it.
Oh yes, just so too. Yes, I do have the tube and the deed. Yes, actually, I do.
Samael looks at you and says, clearly this place is connected to those items, and you are currently holding them. It ignored the rest of us.
Well, I mean, it also ignored me until I said drink, so I can't really say if it's necessarily because of the deed. I'm the only one that actually went up and tried any.
Well, I think Samael, you have a point.
I don't know. It hit Nicholas in the testicular regions with a thing to say last call, so it responded quite adamantly to his presence as well.
Yeah, quite admirably.
How are you feeling, buddy?
All right.
Shall we check the house pot?
Yes.
Zara starts looking up to go to the second floor.
Siegfried
Okay.
goes and grabs his traveler's coat from the coat hanger by the door.
Of course, you would all know that the way up into the second floor is around the back. It was on the northern side of the manor. Around the corner, there's a set of stairs heading up to the second floor. And I will share a map with you guys. There you go.
And the top right is the stairs that's going up to the living area.
That's correct. Zar,
So
you're
you-
going up
oh,
first.
Again, she grabs Nick and says, yeah, you go first.
I will look at her and then move in front of her.
I mean,
Go up to the door.
if your healer is dead, you guys are all dead. I'm just trying to get things moving, you know?
Do I need to go up first? Because you're all scared of some ghosts.
Well, plus you
No.
have the key.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know it's the ghost, but fine. I kind of shuffle my way up past them all and walk up. I've been acting tough, but ghosts are a bit spooky, but someone has to man up, don't they? And if it isn't Siegfried Lockhart or Samael, then who would it be?
Zara gives him a shove.
I got to open the door. I put the key in, turn it just to make sure it's unlocked, and open the door and walk in.
Okay. As you enter into the next room, you appear to be into some sort of meeting or dining room with a couple of doors and a hearth.
This actually seems really relaxing. I mean, little hearth and a
And
nice
as you walk up to the
table.
table, the various chairs all begin to straighten themselves. Whereas before they were all out from underneath. They all very very casually begin sliding back into their proper place in front of the table.
I'm very curious. Would you mind stacking the chairs on top of the table?
The chairs, each one at a time, flip up into the air and land on their legs on top of the table.
Not what I had in mind, but that
And
works.
from out from behind and directly in front of you to the north, the door opens, and a broom and dustpan come floating out, and the broom begins sweeping the floor in front of you, and then around you, and around the table.
Could we also light the hearth? We have some guests coming over. Zara, Nicholas, if you'd like to come.
As you say that, the hearth sparks a light, with a roaring fire begins burning in the hearth.
Welcome home, Zara.
Thank you. I guess.
Welcome home, Nicholas. As I say, I am not the only owner of this place, but so is Zara and Nicholas, and we shall treat them as such.
I say, if it's response to the deed, aren't all of our names around the deed except Samuel's?
Well, but I believe it would help if the one holding the deed also physically states it as well. And it is really nice that we can just say clean. And Byron, welcome home as well. You're also part of the ownership. All we have, I literally said, stack the chairs and light the hearth, and it all did it itself. And it's cleaning up. Maybe this isn't too bad of a fixer-upper either. I wonder. Yes, I wonder. Could we remove the boards from the windows as well?
You wait a few moments after making the request, and you can hear the sounds, very faint in the distance, of something falling from outside. All around.
Excitement is just swelling from Siegfried as his eyes shine. Guys, this is awesome!
So is all the floors clean in here? The brooms
Currently,
are cleaned up?
currently there is a cloud of dust as this broom is whipping the dust that's on the wooden floors up in a frenzy.
It's currently being cleaned. It may take some time. It's really dirty, and magical or not, I think this is gonna take some.
Siegfried, since this one seems to listen to you because you're holding the deed, what if you spoke to it and asked, who is here? What presence?
Before I do, why don't you ask, just in case it answers to all of us? It would be a good test, and if it doesn't, I'll ask as well.
Alright. Hello. Who is, residing here? What presence?
No response. However, you feel a tickling sensation, Zara. And all of you in the room watch as Zara's hair begins lifting in places and braiding itself.
Interesting.
You have a very gorgeous, intricately braided hairdo now.
Alright, and now to double check, I hand Zara the deed.
Alright. Excuse me? What presence lives in this place?
The fire crackles, bits pops here and there. Nothing else.
Okay, now Sam. Excuse me, what presence resides here? Well, then it's quite possible that the presence just does not want to make itself known, and who are we to question that as long as it is not
Could you open the southern door for me, please? Just say it open.
You hear a sound of a clack, and the handle turns, and the chamber beyond is revealed to you.
So it appears it listens to us, period, but there are some direct questions. Maybe it's not capable of speech and can only be shown by actions. So maybe you could ask to write it down some.
Hey, Sam, ask it to open up the other door.
But, well, yes.
Hey, Ghostface. Yeah, you. Why don't you open that door up for me? No response.
Samael's name isn't on the deed, so...
Yeah, that's why I was just trying to double check.
I mean, it may also be how he talked to it. I don't know how it
Samael
responds.
says, well, that is some just straight up bullshit. And the moment he says that, you watch as Samael is yanked out the door and down the stairs.
Oh my. Samael's a guest. Please allow him in.
And he takes some
So he
bludgeoning
means
damage. To the tune of 2 bludgeoning damage.
Yes, if we could please allow Samael, he is a guest of the house. He will be coming and going as he pleases as well. If you could overlook his words and allow him access to the house, that would be most grateful from us.
There is no immediate response, but there seemed to be less creaking, if you will, going on in the...
I love this house already.
This is definitely interesting.
Samael, if you'd like to come back up, I think you should be fine now.
Samael walks back into the room, closes the door behind him, and he says, I'm killing this fucking ghost.
No. It was my fault. It wasn't the ghost's fault. It was
Listen,
my
Siegfried,
fault.
I haven't hit anything in a really long time, and I'm starting to get antsy.
We're going to be hitting something soon, just not right now. Right now we're doing house duty. Trust me, I have a very bad feeling that pretty soon we're going to be hitting a lot of stuff. Think of this as base. You want to go around hitting stuff in the church, would you?
Very well.
Now, if there's any rats around, feel free to hit those.
I'm going back downstairs. And
You want to go? You want to go back down to the tavern and drink some?
Vinegar wine.
Hey, if it's alcoholic in any way, I'm pretty sure he would drink.
The door closes behind him, and you hear the sound of Samael's boots stomping down the stairs.
Now, should we see the extent, like... Can it extend rooms, or is it still bound to just magically changing the rooms with what's already...
Open the southern door for me, please.
Oh, you having fun, Byron?
I'm just seeing how far the communication goes. If it's, we got 3-4 stories here, so fiddle about and check everything out.
The door opens, revealing another small chamber with a hearth and not much else.
I'm curious. I'll walk through this door and I'll turn back to this door. Can you change this door into a wall and take the...
The door just kind of rattles on its frame. And then in the dust on the outside of the door, you see words begin to form, like a finger's drawing in the dust. And it says, "No, that's ridiculous."
You know, fair enough. I just did not know. By the way, what's
You cut out there, Siegfried.
I'm sorry. I would just like to know what is your gracious enough to say your name when requesting things.
Very slowly, you see the letters L-I-F. Capital L, lowercase I, lowercase f.
Laugh. Very well, Laugh. I thank you graciously for the kindness you have shown so far.
I think it's Liv.
If Laugh, I'm so sorry. I am horrible with this kind of.
The door that you indicate to open opens out onto a small balcony overlooking the alley outside.
Come back in.
Okay.
I open the door, and to Zara, Nicholas, and Byron, its name appears to be Liv. That is helping us out. So, if we can all be respectful and thank them and use their proper name when asking for doors to be open, as
Is it just one, or is there multiple?
you know,
Is it like an unseen servant, or is it an actual creature?
I'm not too sure. When I was right here by the door, it looked like it was being written in the dust by a finger. Yet I did not feel anything pushing me or anything. But
How
You
about
did
you, Adam?
feel, Siegfried, you did feel the air around you go cold and a shiver down your spine immediately in the space in front of the door.
so it got really cold and I got shivers. Liv, are you the only one that does the house stuff, or is there multiple?
And the door open. Both Zara, Nicholas, all four of you watch as the words, "I am the only one," appear on the door in the dust.
Well, Liv, you're not the only one anymore. We will be here with you as well, and we welcome you, and we hope we can get together peacefully.
And you watch as on the table this dust that has been rising from the moving broom and dustpan has settled on the table, and you watch as words begin to form in the dust on the table. And the first is a sentence that says, "What are your intentions with Troll Skull Manor?"
I believe we just look to live here and clean it up and maybe return it to its glory. Nothing too enhanced. Maybe possibly make a comedy theater if that's where it leads us. But we don't intend to sell it, rent it. We don't intend to really do much but use it for ourselves and just make it look nice again.
And
The-
what are your intentions?
The table, more words begin to form, and another sentence appears. It says, "You intend to repair and renovate the tavern with the goal of opening it to the public again?" Question mark.
Is that something that would please you?
And in very large letters, much larger than the other sentences that have been drawn in the dust, you see the word "yes" with
Well,
an
then that lines up
exclamation
perfect.
point.
See, I myself am a bard, and I enjoy making the people laugh and smile, and if it correlates with what you want, then I think that works perfectly well. That actually, if anything, gives us more fire to try to repair it and make it in working order again.
Sud-
Is there anything you'd like out?
Suddenly, the top of a head begins to emerge from the center of the table, and the head connected to a body begins to push up through the middle of the table, through the wood, leaving behind ectoplasm as it does. And this ethereal specter rises up and is now hovering over the table. And it regards you all with a bow. And it begins clapping. And then
how long have you been
the
here?
specter shimmers. It turns and regards you, Byron. And you can see that it's trying to form words, but all you hear is just breathy whispers. And it can't quite seem to form a sentence out loud to you. And it appears to get frustrated as it does so. And the image of the specter flickers a bit, like fading in and out of visual existence.
Maybe we should find if there's any magic that helps the undead or ghosts talk better. Zara, you're a healer. Do you know of anything?
I actually do not. I need to do some more study.
And
Make
you know what type of creature it is.
make a religion check, Zara.
Alright.
Zara, you're fairly certain that within your order, that there are arcane rites and spells that deal with communicating with the dead. But to you, at this point, it is a magic. It is a power that is you're fairly certain is beyond you right now.
Sorry, guys. Excuse the squeaky.
You can hear
Toy.
you can hear downstairs. Francis is currently chewing on a rat, and that is the noise it's making.
Samael, do you have anything?
Samael went downstairs.
Oh,
It may be on
So-
us right now, but I'm pretty sure we can have them still write in dust, or if we carry some pen and paper around, it's possible they can write for us, since it's
So
not an
leaf,
inconvenience.
leaf.
now, does the name, what was it again? Liff? Does that ring a bell in any way?
Byron, you have no recollection of that name.
Yeah. So, Leaf, is there anything hostile in this building that we would consider hostile towards us or danger?
The dust motes settle again on the table, and you watch as it begins drawing out another sentence. No hostility, only that which you bring in here.
Why are you here?
And another sentence begins forming. I have nowhere else to go.
Were you escaping from something?
And again, a bit of a pause, and another bit of dust mote begins settling, and it says, "This was my life's work. I will not abandon it in my death."
Oh, so you either built or you ran the pub. Well then, we will work heavily with you, and we will return it to its glory like it should.
If that is your wish for it.
That is what they said. They wrote that they wanted us to reopen the pub, and so why not make it as glorious, if not more glorious, than it was once before?
And it's not they; it's just him. What is your full name, so that we can understand who you are, how long you've been here?
You are greeted with silence.
Were you the barkeep or the owner?
You see the word barkeeper scrawled on the table in the dust.
And how did you become in the state that you are now? Did you meet your end by ill will or just cast on your own?
You see several question marks begin to draw all over the table, everywhere. On the table, on the chairs, on the mantle.
You don't remember. Is that what's keeping you here, or do you wish to move on, or do you wish
No,
to
if they
stay
naturally
here?
got sick or if someone made them sick.
You are greeted with silence.
I don't know, Byron. If you were a ghost, would you necessarily want to
But are you stuck here, or is it you choose to stay here, or if there was a way that we could send you on to the next part of your adventure, would you want to leave?
And again, another sentence begins to form, and it says, "This is my home. I will not abandon it. If you are truly what you say you are, I will assist in any way. We will make this place great again." I-
Or is it
Hashtag.
that you stay normal?
Don't do it, Zara.
I am limited in my capacity. I am tireless, but there are things that even I cannot do.
So you can cover all the floors in this residence, or in all the rooms?
I can
Is there any
move.
place that you cannot?
I can move anywhere within the homestead and below. I cannot go too far beyond the manor. It hurts to do so.
So basically, the ground.
Indeed. And now, as you look at the table, it's just a paragraph written in dust, and it's getting to a point now it's really hard to read because the specter has had to write over other sentences because the dust is being cleared off while it's smudges and markings.
Alright, I think we're done asking the guy. I think all that's done now is to ask, can you unlock all the doors and we can explore?
The moment that you say that, you hear the sound of several doors all over echoing throughout the entire manor opening all at once.
Except for the outside doors. Keep them closed and locked.
Is there any way I can, I don't know, garner whether this presence is sinister, neutral, good?
Well, you got the impression from Samael that it was a presence he considered evil.
Great.
Listen, evil wizard overlords that create liches and death and destructions are allowed to have nice pubs. As long as their intentions is strictly for the pub to be good, it doesn't matter if they're good or evil.
Can we explore the whole building, or get all the maps?
Yeah, they're all unlocked now, so you can go wherever you.
Yeah, I'll let me unlock the last map for you.
I would like a room on the 3rd floor myself, though. I like being.
Hopefully this doesn't crash Fantasy Grounds. There we go.
Silly Jeremy, it doesn't crash Fantasy Grounds, it crashes all of our computers.
So, for the sake of levity and constraints of time, I will assume that you guys spend several minutes exploring the manor.
Yeah, several hours, probably.
And
That's my
you
room.
discover many rooms. You discover rooms. What appeared to be on the level you're on now, you discover a room that appears to be the main room. You also find a study with many books and a writing desk. And
Is there a master?
the bedroom, the master bedroom, is the one that's with the large bed right there. It's
Ooh.
just on the second floor. It's just south of where you guys are now.
Yes,
That-
Zara
that
and
large room.
Nicholas, you can have that room. It's the biggest bed. I'll take that one on the third floor. That's on the left.
And that is
I'll take the one
that's
above.
another to the west, that long, what looked like a hallway with wooden, that's a balcony that overlooks the alley.
I'm right next to the bathrooms.
And
Looks like there's 2 bathrooms.
Yes,
Yeah.
the bathtub.
yeah, one more. Let's see. Let me just pull up the 4th floor again for you guys. And there is an attic as well.
Ooh.
And of course the parapet, the turret. There's a small room, an unused room in the turret.
That can be Samael's room. Did you share the attic?
I've already shared it actually, but I'll share it again. There we go.
The 4th floor.
Oh, it was that one. All right.
Yeah, it also has the basement level on it. But that is the attic.
I'm pretty sure that would be Samael's room. You know,
Another
I
another
just
bedroom.
feel like that's what he would want.
Or you could use it for the coachman.
Well, the coachman doesn't really need a room. He doesn't sleep. He just needs a place for his horses.
Or you get that storeroom up there in the attic.
Well, yes, but we're not gonna store his horses in the attic.
So after a great bit of time getting used to this spectral entity, which at first was you felt a bit uneasy, especially considering the bit of mischief that it pulled on you, Nicholas. But communicating with it and realizing that it just seemed to be a very lonely entity, and it seems very pleased with your presence and your intentions, if your intentions prove to be satisfactory to it.
Ooh, I could use a little office for my casework.
We can use the office. We'll have to get a second desk.
We could all have our own offices.
No, I mean, if me and Nick are gonna work together, we can just split the office in two. Get another desk for the left side, and we both have a desk and chair and a little divider there, and we can cross-rep.
Could create our own little private incorporation.
Private investigators with a tavern on the bottom investigate, and we can use the pub to also gather information on some of the wrongdoings.
That's not a bad idea. And Zara can set up a healer's office, eh?
Let me see something real quick there. Hang on, let me.
Samael, are you oh wait, he's not even here.
Samael slams open a door and he says, "I got it.
What? What is it?
This can be our home."
Yes. Zara, you see over there by you on the second floor there? That area could be your healing area.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Our living room is where we're all at right there, and it's kind of disconnected from the rest of it. But then over there can just be like a little healing area, where it would work very well. I mean, of course, we'd want to run this by the spirit. I mean, I think as long as we're making the pub go really well, all the other business stuff should be. But our first priority should be for that pub.
All right. Well,
Hey, Byron, you should ask your dad how much it would cost to renovate this place.
Well, talking to Leaf, can he have someone do all the cleaning of the windows, basic clean, and we'll worry about the maintenance and repairs and stuff?
Leaf, after a few hours of going through the various rooms in the manor, you finally found yourselves a proper notebook, an old ledger, if you will, that appeared to be left behind by the previous owners a long time ago. And Leaf has been furiously scribbling during this whole time, various things, instructions, different things, important information that can help you in terms of reopening this place. And a few of the things that it lays out to you is that if you intend to fix it up and reopen it, you will have to deal with many of the guilds, without which their support, the business will most likely fail. Details that the repairs to the walls and the roof will require approval and oversight from the Carpenters, Roofers, and Plaisters Guild. The Cellars and the Plumbers Guild is best equipped to handle any of the refurbishing of the basement and the plumbing that needs to be taken care of. Clean bed sheets are provided by the Launderers Guild. The streets around the establishment are kept up by the Dung Sweepers Guild and the Loyal Order of Street Laborers. Meat comes from the Guild of Butchers, Justin Rask. Ale and wine from the Vintners, Distillers, and Brewers Guild. And bread and pastries come from the Bakers Guild. And the list goes on and on. But it sort of makes a bullet point of the different guilds that you'll have to deal with directly.
I feel like favors and discounts galore are coming the way for all those guilds that do help them.
It also
Well, just,
it also leaves an estimate on how much it will cost you and how long it will take.
Well, I'd like to bring my father in too as well, find out what the pricing would be.
That total cost to renovate the tavern, Liff being the previous barkeeper, explains that it will cost you 1,250 gold to renovate the tavern over the course of 12 days, and to pay all the guild licenses and contracts.
all right.
We may have to do some favors. You know, we do have a noble that we can ask for some help, and maybe he can either help us with some gold or some discounts on some connections. So we do have a few connections that we can do, as well as maybe if we offer some of those guilds discounts on some of our services that we will provide them, and maybe some of the side services we may have, or maybe even do them a few favors, maybe we can have that price lowered a bit.
Hey, Siegfried, I do recall that Ragnar said that he would help us with everything to get this place back up into livable state. So, ask him for 1,500 gold. And he
Renar?
Clearly,
Yeah, yes, that is who I was referring to, and we all helped him, so, you know.
I don't
And
think that's much
Bolo,
to
I
ask.
believe, also said he may help, so we can ask both of them and say if they could help a bit. I mean, he did just give us 600 gold, period, but maybe if we ask both of them for a bit of help, they would be willing to help.
I don't want to offer any discounts here. You know?
The ledger has a final bullet point that it writes. It says you will need to hire people to run this place.
Well, would you like to sit down and talk about what we have available?
Sure.
Well, we have to be careful with our funds, because remember, we already have a few more things we need to do, and that may cost us gold for our expenses doing that as well. So we also need to, if we pull all of our gold together, we also need to figure how much we'd have to set aside to supply or resupply ourselves properly for any misfortunes that may come.
But I can tell you that right now amongst the party, you guys have 1,183 gold if Zara decided to dip into her bloodstone supply. Without without the bloodstone, you guys have 683 gold pieces right now amongst you. I'll round it up and say you have 685.
Well, no, I mean, I was saving the bloodstones in case we needed to buy supplies for, resurrecting and healing and all that. But if we have a way to regain that money, invest it to make even more, I mean, I wouldn't mind parting with a bit of it.
Well,
Maybe we can...
let me ask Cliff this. Cliff, during the prime, how much gold did the tavern make during an average
Day.
just a day? That's all we need to know is a day.
There is a pause, and then it begins writing out a few estimates, and it starts writing out expenses first, and it says approximately 60 gold per 10 day for maintenance, wages of hirelings, and guild expenses. And with a potential to earn, let's see, doing a little math here. With a profit of 150 gold per week potential after you've paid all of your expenses. That's a maximum profit that you could earn. Now, of course, that is just through the normal tavern expenses. If you decided that you wanted to do other business expenses, that would be something entirely different added on top.
And that was profit per day?
That was for 10 days. So
10 days.
essentially, the you could potentially make a profit of 15 gold a day after paying paying all of your expenses.
What if we incorporated drugs into the scenario? Perhaps maybe a little bit of prostitution?
It would take 80 days to start breaking even on the expenses at 15 gold per day max. But that's without charging for Zara's healing, without charging for me or Nick investigating, and I'm pretty sure we can incorporate meat sheep if Byron decided he wanted to hunt like we've heard he was good. Or maybe if he wanted to get his girl to bake some special goods that we could sell on the side in the tavern as well.
And yes, if Samael wants to do his thing, he can, have his own business on the side.
With that, since that is sketchy, I would ask Liv, but if Liv is okay with it, we...
What do you think about that, Leaf? Liv?
As you watch Samael, a bucket hovers across the room and drops water on Samael's head.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure they're against that. But
And that's where we're going to
else...
end the session for tonight.
Yay!
Yeah, so Kevin, so this house is magical. Like, if I walked in, I was like, can you light the hearth? And it lights the hearth. And Nicholas also got hit in the nuts by a cork that shot out of a wine holder.
Nice.